Okay, so before starting, पहले तो basically like for any technology we have a language we code in. So for Ethereum or even blockchain we use Solidity. तो बेसिकली अभी सॉलिडिटी सीखना लाइक अनदर लैंग्वेज, तो उससे अच्छा हम सीधा इम्प्लीमेंट करेंगे और लाइक ये हम एक टूल यूज करेंगे, इसका नाम इथीरियम डॉट बिल्ड है। ये सब हम सीख लेंगे आगे के लेक्चर्स में, बट आज बस मैं एक डेमो देता हूँ बिकॉज इसको हम यूज करेंगे फॉर विजुअलाइजेशन। सो व्हाट दिस इज कि दिस इज अ फंक्शन, एज लाइक हम कोड में लिखते हैं एक फंक्शन, तो ये वही फंक्शन है बट ये बस एक बॉक्स के फॉर्म में है। ये एक इनपुट लेगा और एक वैल्यू देगा आउटपुट। और इनपुट तो बेसिकली आप चेक कर सकते हो कि लाइक इफ आई टाइप समथिंग, so this is an input high, and it is giving the output to this function which calculates the length. So I attached this node to this node. तो बेसिकली हम बस फंक्शन का जो वैल्यू है इस वैल्यू को इस फंक्शन में पास कर रहे हैं। तो बेसिकली इथेरियम डॉट बिल्ड इज दिस सिंपल। सो जस्ट कोई ऐसे डर मत जाना, इसलिए मैं बस बता रहा था। तो ओके, आई स्टार्ट विद द पीपीटी देन। Okay, cool. So, hey all, I'm Gaurav, and let's start with today's session. Let's understand hashing first. So, what is hashing? Consider it as your fingerprint. Let's suppose एक person है, person A, and he's sending a file to a person B via internet. Then the person B wants to make sure कि वो file person A ने ही भेजी है and not some other guy. So A can send the file with its hash value and now B can verify it. So let's see how it works. So this is like basically एक function, a normal hash function is nothing, it's not complex, एक normal function है, उसमें हम एक value pass करेंगे and we'll get an output. So here some message X is passed and we get an output f of h. So और also hash value मतलब जो hash function है, so hash value हमेशा fixed length का होता है irrespective of the input value size. Basically a hash function is a function that gives a unique 256-bit output for different input, and it does not matter कि input का size क्या है। आप कितना भी बड़ा या कितना भी छोटा input लोगे, उसका जो output है हमेशा 256-bit long ही रहेगा। And let's visualize this with an real-time example. um okay, cool. So okay, so basically here this is a hash function. We need not know कि वो function क्या है पूरा, but just consider this is a function. Okay, तो ये hash function है, हम इसमें एक value डाल रहे हैं जिसका बस जो इस string का length है वो 2 है, और we get an output after we get an hash value of 66 bit. Like the hash value is always 64 bit, the first 2 bit we don't consider this. And so now let's type a longer value and still we get a constant value. Okay. um is it visible now? I guess बंद हो गया था वो।
Yep, it's visible.
Okay, cool. Okay, so before seeing the properties, let's see this example. So yeah, I am Satoshi Nakamoto 0. The first line is giving some value, some hash value of fixed length as we know. And even if we change a small value, that is in the second case, हम बस 0 को 1 से replace कर रहे हैं. So I think we should expect कि like थोड़ा ही change होना चाहिए hash value में, but this is the main property of a hash function कि the entire value completely changes. So Now okay, so now let's say its property. There are three important properties, and they are very easy. So let's see those one by one in the next slide. Okay, so the first property, that is collision resistance. Understand this like दो लोगों की fingerprint match होना is infeasible. There is a possibility जो बहुत rare है, but दो लोगों के fingerprints can match, but it is highly improbable, so we don't need to worry. Um, okay, so second is computational efficiency. Basically हैश वैल्यू कंप्यूट करने के लिए ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगना चाहिए. लाइक अगर आपको हैश वैल्यू ऑब्टेन करना है, बट द प्रोग्राम इज टेकिंग अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम, सो दैट इज नॉट ऑफ एनी यूज टू अस. And the third property is hide information. Basically hash value, you can never retrieve the original data from the hash value. It is a one way function. अगर आप कोई चीज का hash value निकालते हो, then you can't get the original function back with it. Okay, so that's just hashing. Hashing was simple. So before starting with encryption, hashing में किसी को कोई doubt है? Like कुछ भी? If not, then we can continue. Okay, cool. Um, let's go with encryption. Okay, so what is encryption? Unlike hashing, in encryption we can retrieve the original data. What do I mean with this? For example, जब हम WhatsApp पे मैसेज भेजते हैं, then while sending a message is encrypted using an algorithm, that is AES algorithm, and the receiver के device पे decrypt होता है वो message. During this whole transfer of the message, no one, even Mark Zuckerberg, can't read our message, cause message decrypt करने के लिए बस sender and receiver के पास होती है key. There are always two types of encryption, that is asymmetric and symmetric. Okay, so yep, we saw the use case of encryption. Let's for blockchain हमको बस asymmetric encryption लगता है, but for the scope, for the timing, we'll learn symmetric key encryption too, because it is useful in other cases. So what is a symmetric key encryption? It is a type of encryption where only one key, that is a secret key, is used to both encrypt and decrypt the data. So जो दोनों सेंडर एंड रिसीवर है, उन दोनों के पास एक ही की होती है. एंड बेसिकली अगर आप समझो ये सेंडर है, this is a secret message that is secret, and we encrypt it with the key. This then the message will be this, and with the same secret key, the receiver who can decrypt this message will obtain the value. And here there is one catch, that the secret key बस इन दोनों के पास ही होना चाहिए to obtain the message. अगर ये secret key like किसी और के पास होगी, then they can easily see this, whatever the message is. Okay, cool. So let's take an example to understand it better. Okay, so here, जैसे हमने पहले बोला था कि जो WhatsApp है, it uses symmetric encryption. So in this example, ये the guy Par is WhatsApping, messaging Harsh, and his message is encrypted from his device, and the private जो key होती है वो इसके phone में होती है. Like if he's sending from his phone, the private key is in his phone. So the message will be encrypted, and it will be first like stored in WhatsApp database, and then now there are two possibilities. Let's suppose Parth has sent message to Harsh, but Harsh is offline, उसका नेट बंद है. Then what happens कि जो ये मैसेज है, ये जो WhatsApp के डेटाबेस है उधर ही स्टोर होता है, and Harsh, whenever he turns on his Wi-Fi or net, he sends a ping back to the server, and he obtains um, like a sort of a stack full of messages that are pending, and So then he receives the encrypted message, and then on his device the encrypted message gets decrypted on its own. Cool. Let's see encryption using it.build. Okay, let's make a new. I guess I have one already made. Okay, cool. So, yep. Assume कि ये message है. Okay, before starting, I have one more thing to tell. Is it visible now?
Yep, yep.
Okay. So first, I think let's see a symmetric encryption too, because it is important. For blockchain scope, asymmetric encryption is used because it has two important features. Like अगर हम सिमेट्रिक इंक्रिप्शन को सोचेंगे तो जो की है वो दो ही लोग के पास होती है. So the thing is, to send a message to a person, you need to have the key, and that person should have the same key. So अगर for example आप unknown हो but you know that person, this person exists and you have to send some message to him. So you can't do that with symmetric encryption. Basically consider this as email. तो for best analogy for this, पब्लिक की को तुम ईमेल कंसीडर करो एंड कंसीडर योर प्राइवेट की एज योर like password. So this is the email. With suppose there are two guys, A and B. So B wants to send some message to A. What will he do? He knows his email. It's available online. It's known to everybody. So B will use his email and send a message to A. And using A's private key, A will open his email, and then read the message, whatever it is. So, with the same analogy, asymmetric encryption works. So, in here, this is the message that is the secret key, and sorry, the message that is secret. And first, it is encrypted using uh, like this guy's public key. So the message is encrypted using a base secret, a public key, and this message can only be recovered or obtained back using the private key that the user B owns. So basically, this is how asymmetric encryption works. So let's see that, guys. Also, ये like आज का short session है just to tell you encryption and hashing, because we'll be having a main session tomorrow. So this is the prerequisite for that. Also, अभी तक किसी को कोई doubt है तो you can like unmute and ask. Cool. So okay, let's make a new one. Okay, so we need a public key. I guess I have that already made. Okay, I do have this. So let's consider this example. Okay, so this is a private key that I own. Nobody in the world knows this, only I know this. So what do? I use a hash function to like, because it's obvious that anyone who keeps a password will be the password would be a string that is like some word or something. So to make it more hard to guess, we'll use a hash function to complicate this. So whatever we obtain from this, we make it as a private key. Okay. So after making it as our private key, we so this is basically, this is the key pair. This is the encryption. This we call this elliptical curve encryption that we'll learn now. तो अभी यहाँ पे देखो कि ये जो प्राइवेट की है वो ये हमारा मैसेज है. ओके, रिमेंबर दिस बिकॉज दिस इज our password. So after passing it through the function, we obtained a public key. Where is it? Okay, I'll make it one more. Cool. I do have this here. So this is the public key that I obtained. See, from this node is connected. It is clearly visible. So this is a public key, and we so हमको public key obtain करने के लिए कुछ करना नहीं पड़ता. Basically जो function है उसमें हमको private key pass करना पड़ता है. तो we automatically obtain a public key. So this is a public key, and so suppose अगर मेरे को आप ये this is so तुम में से किसी को भी मेरे को मैसेज भेजना है कुछ भी, so you have my public key. It's like my email. Okay, so you can send anything with this. So how will you send anything with this? So let's see that. So okay, cool. So what would I need a whiteboard, I guess. Just a second. Sorry for the interruption. Is my screen visible?
No, not yet. Yes,
Is it
now it's
now?
visible. Yes.
Okay, cool. So so let's suppose I have a private key, and yeah. So and this is our encryption function. इसको बस encryption function ही बोलो currently. तो अभी क्या होगा कि हम प्राइवेट की पास कर रहे हैं इसके अंदर, इस फंक्शन के अंदर. लेट्स राइट इट इज एज फंक्शन. ओके, कूल. सो वी obtain a public key. Cool. So we have a public key, we have a private key of our own. This is mine, this is person A's, and so if there is a person B who wants to send me a message, so what will he do? He'll take this public key, he'll take this function. This function is available for all. It's available online, it's out there. So function same ही है सबका. So he'll take my public key. It's like my email, जैसे हमने discuss किया था. So and he has some message. Let this be the message. What will he do? He'll input the public key and the message. And what will this function do? This function will create a string. Okay, so string, let's suppose it be xe12 or something dot 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 dot. Cool. So this string is basically combination of this mine public key, that is my email, and a message. So how does this work? जैसे हमको email भेजना है तो we need the other guy's email address and we just type कि इस email पे ये message भेजना है. Basically this does the same, but this is not email, this is encryption. So we get and we obtain this message. So what do we do now? We publish this message somewhere on the internet. We don't need any provider, we don't need WhatsApp, we don't need email, we don't need nothing. हम इंटरनेट पे कोई सर्वर पे डाल देंगे, and and this guy A, he should he should know that server too. So what happens next is, uh, ये जो मैसेज है इंक्रिप्टेड वाला ये सर्वर पे पड़ा है. ओके, सो ऑटोमेटिकली बिकॉज दिस थिंग इज ऑन दैट सर्वर टू, तो ये क्या होगा कि ये मैसेज क्या करेगा, बिकॉज दिस मैसेज इज फॉर दिस पर्सन, दिस मैसेज विल, लेट्स स्क्रॉल डाउन आई गेस. Okay, I have to clear this. Okay, cool. Yep. Yep. So on this server, let's consider this as a server. Okay. So this will be on this server, and so this guy, what will he do? That take this encrypted message and use this function, as we have called it as function. So take this function and use this private key that we had inputted earlier. So this is his private key, and at last we obtain a message. तो ये इतना complicated is it's nothing more than like peer to peer messaging. This is what basically is peer to peer. आपने सुना होगा कि peer to peer क्या होता है. So how does this work कि सपोज इंटरनेट पे अगर आपको व्हाट्सएप क्या करेगा कि जो आपका मैसेज है वो एक डेटाबेस में, उनके डेटाबेस में जाएगा, डेटाबेस के थ्रू वो दूसरे पर्सन को जाएगा. अभी व्हाट्सएप के डेटाबेस में दोनों पर्सन है क्योंकि आपने रजिस्टर किया है. सो तो उनको इस चीज की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती. बट इफ वी डोंट वांट टू यूज व्हाट्सएप फॉर सम रीजन, or basically apart from messaging, I guess you guys have used torrent. So torrent में भी वही होता है कि जो फाइल्स है वो सबके अपने अपने पीसी में थोड़ा थोड़ा, मतलब पूरा जो जिसने डाउनलोड किया वो फाइल, वो एक पीयर बन गया. तो ये मेरा पीसी है, उस पे एक फाइल है. ये किसी और का पीसी है, उस पे एक फाइल है, मतलब वही सेम फाइल. लेट्स सपोज अ मूवी, and there is this guy, let's call him Shubham. So there is this guy Shubham, उसको ये मूवी चाहिए. And because it's available on this guy's PC, what they will do कि they will directly, and this is on a server, so this they will directly like he will call for their server, and he will receive the whatever the files are from these peers directly. So basically this is what peer-to-peer messaging is. I guess that's it for today. Also अगर कोई डाउट है for ethereum.build or anything, you can ask now. कुछ भी डाउट है, like literally anything you can ask now. This was just a short session for to like a prerequisite for tomorrow's, और like जब भी हम अगला सेशन रखेंगे उसके लिए prerequisite है. हैशिंग और इंक्रिप्शन पूरा नहीं आना जरूरी है, बट you must know how the underlying principle works.